Johnson. Others will be here. And should be good. It's a big recruiting weekend as well. You got the baseball series with Pitt. You've got pads today for spring football before they take a respite like everybody else will. We'll do a show Monday and react to what happens with all of this. We'll also, I think, have Seminole headlines on Tuesday, then off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So that's the way that's going to work for spring break week. I hope if you guys are gearing up and head out of town listening to us, you drive safe, have a good time with whatever it is you're doing.
Also should be noted, if you want to make plans for Friday, April the 14th.
Boom.
4 teams remain. You have 4 open slots to work with. Once they're gone, they're gone. So make your plans.
Yeah, so teams of 4, 625. Tom will post it. It's been posted before. You can find the link and get your team in there and be ready to roll. It's exciting times. Good on you, Troy. I'm glad you're going back home today. I'm glad you made it through your hospital stay, and thanks for listening to us as always. I hope you're feeling well. Enjoy your weekend. Jason's listening from Germany. Hey, Jason. Hope things are well in Germany.
Guten Tag.
And you're having a good time. Thanks for listening to us. It is a libation surprise Friday, I should say.
Do I want to know what a libation surprise is?
Yeah. Back in the day, I'd be like, surprise me. Whatever. I think that's one of the ways that it can be called.
Bombay and tonic.
All
nice.
right, guess we're doing it. Really quickly, the show's weird today because we're live this hour for us here in studio, and then next hour we already did. We did that hour an hour ago. Like quite literally, we did an hour before we're doing this live hour an hour ago. And it's because Tom and the staff here at Warchant have to prepare for other responsibilities for the site and all that from the for the football practice upcoming. So we're going to get over there and we have to make our way over there and get set up and all that good stuff. So that's what's going on today. But you got content. You're good.
Very smart. They are organized. I think it was Briley yesterday who was remarking on the organization of the rollout of Mike Norvell hitting, and that was Warchant TV only for the radio audience. You can go back and find us on Warchant TV with yesterday's program. It was just a straight Q&A for an hour. It was a lot of fun.
Was.
But the organization of rolling out the announcement of the $1 million donation. He's the 300th member of the Bowden Society and so forth. Very organized. Here's another example of said organization. Their practice today starts an hour earlier and it wraps up in the 5 p.m. hour so that live practice is not comprised of a bunch of fans in the stands at Dick Howser Stadium wanting to take in FSU and Pitt and all hovering over the edge of every ledge that they can get some space to see what football practice looks like. Nice job, Florida State. Very smart.
Well done. No, Noel, Dad, you didn't miss it. The next hour we'll play next hour. We had to record the second hour early because we're leaving to go over to the stadium to watch football practice. This hour is live. Next hour is not.
Bill is correct. You were looking at now. When will then be now? Soon.
You're looking at now. That is correct. We are live right here. Here it is. I'm doing that now. All of this is happening. Lightning game tomorrow for me. Pirates, Braves, Sunday. Hearty weekend. Should be a lot of fun.
The Lightning tomorrow, I'm trying to think of who they have.
Blackhawks. They should pace the Blackhawks.
They
23 wins. If they don't beat the Blackhawks, we've got a problem.
Lay the goal and a half. They're starting to turn the corner.
Oh.
They've been slumping for weeks.
Yeah.
Saw some good things last night.
It's been weird. They've been a tug of war between them and the coach. Weird. Get it together, everybody. Let's go. Play some hockey. It's time. Over at TPC, Sawgrass in progress. Windy, weird day. Could be interesting already. Huge news. John Rahm has withdrawn. John Rahm called it a day and said, peace, I'm out. I do not want to be on the course as I have explosive diarrhea. He didn't say that, but he did. He has a stomach bug. He can't be on the course.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's the weirdest thing for golfers. Like, I mean, that's an awful deal.
Oh, it would have been awesome if you had Depends on underneath it. You could see it underneath the pants.
I'm playing for keeps. I'm going to win this tournament.
I will make the cut.
Yeah, whatever has to happen, has to happen. No, I mean, that's the hard part when you're a golfer, right? You know, you got stomach problems. It's a toughie on, middle of the fairway, number 3. Ooh, boy. You can't have that. Can't have it.
He's got a 6-footer after, 50-footer. It's not a great lag. I'll finish.
Yeah.
And Rahm is going to continue here.
He is sprinting.
Oh,
Yeah. No, it's so that's unfortunate. He was 1 under. I don't know if he had a great day today. Could have been in the mix over the weekend. It's hard to discount John Rahm. I mean, he's been known to get hot and just go nuts on a course, so it could have happened, but we won't know now. He is gone. He is out. Colin Morikawa is your leader still. He's at -8 on the course now, 1 under through 1. Ramey getting ready to tee off. Nobody cares about Ramey. But he's tied with him, as is, that's it. That's your leaderboard. I'll touch on that later.
I'll tell you what, this is where the PGA is going to be successful, and I'll leave it there. When they do these designated events, like the new setup for next year.
Yeah.
I'm going to care about Ramey, and I might care more about Ramey than I do some of the studs, because when you're playing for extra status and there's this desperation, there's the desperation field events, and then there's the made men field events. That's kind of the way it's going to shake out in the PGA Tour. You're going to fall in love with a Ramey or Kirk from last week at the Honda, or 2 weeks ago, at the Honda.
Sure.
You're going to fall in love with those guys because you're going to see how much it means to them. They haven't been spoiled yet.
Well, and also, the fields that aren't elevated are also going to feature, I think, a greater level of intensity as well. A, because you want to become the made man, but
right.
B, the made men that are at the bottom of the made scale want to stay being made. Got to play in those events to accumulate points. It's not given to you. You have to earn the status. So, and you can fall out of status.
It's a renewal.
And so,
some days you walk in and they kiss the ring. Some other days you're Joe Pesci walking through the garage.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's if you're right there at, say, 68th, well, it looks like I'm playing the Farmers this weekend, boys. There's no, you're going to have to get some points.
There you go, Billy Horschel. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, boom. Lights out. I always thought that was, of all the ways, that wasn't so bad. He had a half second to know he was done.
Yep. Oh, we've talked about this. The Joe Pesci is gone moments.
Well, the beating in the bats in the desert.
Casino is not the way you want to go.
Oh, no.
Goodfellas is the way you want to go.
The casino one is uncomfortable to watch.
Dominic.
Oh, and they're beating him with a bat. Oh,
he's still breathing.
Brutal.
He deserved every bit of it.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying it's brutal. Yeah, that's not the way. I would have done something. I would have charged a guy just so you had to shoot me. Something. I'm not getting beaten to death with a bat in a grave I had to dig. No, no bueno. That's not what we do here. Shoot me. Yeah, walking straight through and just going, oh, no, and bam. That's the end of that. All right. So what do you want to see today? What are you excited to see today?
Trench
what I'm wondering about,
style.
Yeah, me too. The reason I asked the question, Tom, sorry, I wonder how hard they're going to go at it. It's right before they go to break, right before they're going to take a week off. And I'm just kind of curious how intense this will be. They may get after it because they got plenty of time to recover it, or they may ease them into it. And it's first day of pads. I don't know that they're going to go to war here.
Well, what I think is going to happen, there was some 11 on 11 late in Wednesday's proceedings. I don't know about Monday. Was there some 11 on 11 towards the end?
Yeah, a little bit. Not much. No, just.
But they spend an awful lot of time in previous camps where the offensive line meets with the defensive line, and they do a ton of drills. It could be running game drills. It could be combo blocking, the individualized stuff, and then, of course, the 11 on 11. Well, they stayed away from that on Wednesday. So I think even if they ease them into the process, you're going to see one side of the ball against the other side of the ball a hell of a lot more often this afternoon. So, that's it. That's 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah,
I think as we settle in on the other side of the break, and we have a Tuesday, Thursday coming on the other side of spring break, maybe I'll start to meander over to see receivers versus defensive backs.
Mm-hmm.
But for right now,
it's all trench warfare, man.
Trench.
It's beautiful to watch. Z-Chan, I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much, buddy. Thanks for participating and being part of what we do, and thanks for caring about the process there. It's awfully nice of you. Happy Libations Friday, right, Z-Chan? Enjoy practice today. Can't wait to see the content. Weather has to hold up. We got to get, we got to be all right with weather too. That is for the weekend series in baseball, for the practice, all that stuff.
They will compress it, move it into the IPF. I tend to like those days. I know you can't stand the IPF.
Hate it.
But you get to get up on the sidelines and you could see and hear and feel
Better.
the instruction, the feedback.
Can't breathe, but other than that, yeah.
The crosstalk between the two. There are high ceilings in the IPF.
Man, it gets all nasty as hell. It's just all warm and swampy. I hate it. I need to be out free. Let the wind blow through my hair.
Say through your what?
Oh, I can't stand it. Everybody's on top of each other. Yes, you're right on top of the action. There's no doubt. You're right. You get to see it up close and personal, which is awesome. But it gets stuffy quick in that IPF.
Well, the good news is most of the media likes to be over by the skill positions. So if you go to the trenches, there'll be more people there this year, but it's still the lesser. It's like the quiet pool at the resort versus the resort pool. And I'm okay with that. Y'all go over there and you go ooh and ah at Hakeem Williams. I'm going to take a look at Jeremiah Byers. I'm going to look at Daryl Jackson.
Top two guys I'd want to watch. Top two guys I want to watch. You just said it. Those two guys. Daryl Jackson intrigues me. I knew what he was. He was a guy that we were excited about. He was a guy that when they got him, we thought, man, all right. But he's even more impressive in person than I thought he'd be. I mean, we saw him on the field last year. We saw him play college football. He's a good player. When I stood next to him the other day and thought, that guy, that's a better looking defensive lineman than anybody we have. He's the best looking defensive lineman we have.
Just by the look of
him. Man.
Yep.
Yeah, and now we'll see with the pads coming on and all that. It's just nuts. It's crazy to watch.
But you see some guys that they have that they're cultivating that could be in that ilk in a year or two. I'll continue to say that Daniel Lyons looks like he is going to project to be that kind of a body type. To have Dennis Briggs as a Swiss Army knife for that defensive line.
Going to have a good year. I'm telling people right now, Dennis Briggs is going to have a good year. We're finally going to get the good Dennis Briggs who got robbed for a year and a half because of the cheap shot at Louisville.
I feel like he is going to be your interior guy on third and passing.
I think so.
And make some guards miss, that kind of a thing.
He's moving again, man. He's starting to move again.
Yeah, even though he's flipped a defensive tackle, they haven't fattened him to the point where he's just going to be, a gap-plugging player. He still very much looks like he could do either or, set the edge if they want him to. I think D tackle is just a name for the position. I would list him as a DL, defensive lineman, and move on because he's going to be used in a lot of different situations.
Bob Wright, shout out to Register Sausage, Metro Deli, and others sponsoring JCS and Warchant golf tournament. Haven't had registers yet. Going to hit up Metro Deli. How about some sausages and breakfast burritos? That sounds delicious. Woo! Appreciate you, Bob. You can never really go wrong with a breakfast burrito.
Yeah, if it's custom.
Yeah. I like a good breakfast burrito. He's got me thinking about breakfast burritos.
Bob's supporting the golf tournament. He's going to be on the singles team.
That'll be fun.
Eric, Bob, get to know each other in the chat. There you go. Get to know each other.
Yep, they're going to be playing together. Golf. Yep, that should be fun. Is that singles team filled out yet? Three of the four.
We had an inquiry for the fourth, but a conflict. So there is one spot left on the singles team. Tom at warchant.com, and we'll get you set.
The tournament is, again, the Friday before the spring football game, which is played on Saturday. If you're coming into town, you've got a little time left if that's the idea that you want to get involved and, be part of what we do for charity for the Second Harvest. You can get your team in. There's, I guess, would you say 4 left?
4 remain.
I can't believe how quickly that's impressive. 4 remain. That's it.
Also, some awesome stuff we will announce on the other side of spring break, or maybe on Monday, just about little bells and whistles that have been added to the tournament. Pretty cool.
Yeah, really cool. And we have, guys, this thing keeps getting better and better is what I'm trying to say. I got to be careful about what I say and what we reveal. Warchant, we're in the works doing a lot of different things. And, we're like you guys. We are just as pumped about what's to come for Florida State. And we want to make sure that we do as good a job of covering it as possible and provide a lot of entertaining content and interesting content. And so we've got a couple of things in the works that pretty soon we'll be able to talk to you about. I'm going to be a part of something that I'm really excited about. And I think we'll announce that maybe next week or maybe the week after spring break. We're not real sure yet, but that is something that we're going to have a lot of fun doing. And I think I have a suspicion as the summer rolls along, as we get into summer, we'll be able to reveal a bunch of different things. So everybody's eager for this season, buddy.
Hey, man, we're sitting in on a lot of meetings, and they're all exciting.
Yeah, they're good meetings. They're good meetings, whether they're with potential sponsors and people who want to be a part of what we do. They're excited about the product, not just what we do, but what Florida State's doing, obviously, and we cover that. And then there's also the product itself that we're pumped to cover because Florida State looks like that you can almost say unequivocally they're going to be really good. The question is, how good is really good? Is it top 4 going to a college football playoff good? Is it just conference champions good? Hey, listen, it's been a minute. Being a conference champion wouldn't suck. It'd be nice to win this sorry-ass league one more time before we leave.
There's some symmetry to all of it, too. If we could run it down and do something in the playoff this year, think about it. We were in the first BCS national title game, would have won that game had we had our quarterback. We were in the final BCS national championship game. We did win that.
We did win that one.
Went on a 31-3 runs, something like that.
Run for the ages, yes.
Yes, it was. We were in the first college football playoff. Did not go very well.
Did not go very well.
Even though there were holes to run through the size of this here studio.
Gaping holes.
Indeed. We could be in the final college football playoff as a 4-team event. We open the doors, we close the doors. Let's do it again one more time this year with this proceeding.
And then close the door to this sorry-ass conference.
There you go.
Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
A cup of Joe, Java, brew, go-go beans, brain water, liquid lightning, wakey juice, whatever you call your cup of coffee, you're missing out if it's not Grassroots Coffee. At grassrootscoffee.com, you'll find an easy way to order the best roasted coffee beans available. It's very simple. Choose the blend you want and how you want it ground, and the bag you receive will have the date your beans were roasted and packaged on it, all written by hand and signed by the roast master himself. You'll know that's as fresh as it gets. You can get Grassroots outside of your house also at some of your favorite restaurants in town. Next time you're out to eat, try asking for Grassroots Coffee by name because there's a good chance they will have it for you. And if you own a business, Grassroots Coffee has options to stock your break rooms with all the productivity powder your team needs. Plus, like some other options that you'll find at work, Grassroots Coffee actually is a part of our community. Get to grassrootscoffee.com today and get yourself a treat. Some locally owned, locally roasted, and locally loved Grassroots Coffee.
Motorcycle accident? Call Fasig Brooks Law Offices, 777-7777.
Hi, this is Justin Colvin, founder of the Medicare Help Desk. I routinely speak to seniors who are overwhelmed by the multitude of coverage options available to them. That's why I created the Medicare Help Desk radio show. Tune in every Sunday at 11:30 a.m. where I provide clear answers to all your questions about Medicare.
Hi, Chris Kraft for the Kraft Brothers Dealerships. If you're getting a tax refund, you're in luck. Kraft dealerships have the perfect storm for you to buy your next car. New car inventory is at a 12-month high, and the Kraft New For You program puts people with dings in their credit into brand new cars. 4 to 5 people with credit issues qualify for our New For You program. And all new and barely used vehicles of Kraft, Nissan, and Infiniti come with a lifetime warranty. And at Kraft, lifetime means lifetime. You can keep your car for 20 years and drive it hundreds of thousands of miles. It just doesn't matter. And the absolute best reason to buy a new Nissan in February is this. We're bringing back 0% financing. That's right. Qualified buyers can get 0% interest on Nissan Rogue, Pathfinder, and Altima, or get $1,500 in loyalty cash when stepping into a new Titan or Armada. The best deals in a long time on our best sellers. So before you start shopping other car lots with a weak or no warranty, high interest rates, crazy high car payments, come into Kraft Nissan or Infiniti of Tallahassee and get peace of mind in the car you really want.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep your operation running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, Maria in Miami, and Jules in Troy, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with high-quality supplies for every industry, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Attorney Joe Cordell. Divorce forces a father to focus on what's most important, his children. In the divorce process, this comes down to 3 key concerns: physical custody, decision-making, as well as financial support. Each of these is important, and it's important that you choose a lawyer that cares as much about these issues as you do.
CordellCordell.com. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. 904-323-0000. 1 Independent Drive, Suite 2200, Jacksonville, Florida, 32202.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout, resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
Too, but that is a Friday song. Like, yeah, let's go.
It just feels like something you would listen to as there was a montage of full pads practice going on, and it sounds pleasant, and it is for those of us who watch it, but those who are going through the full padded practice, they don't hear that music.
No.
They hear the music of suffering.
That music is me at an outdoor venue with an ice cold beer in my hand on a Friday going, yes, here we go. Let the weekend begin. I'm with people I love. Music is good. Weather is perfect.
So you are changing venues. You're going, you're traveling down to the 727 and also the 813.
Both.
All right. Tomorrow night, it's a Lightning game. Sunday, you've got spring training.
Yeah, spring training. So listen, by the way, spring training's gotten out of hand. But when I go, I want to be up close. I'm bringing my kids, but my wife loves baseball. She's going to both these things as well. These are her two favorite sports. She loves hockey and baseball. And so she watches baseball with me all year long, loves baseball. So I got to do the right thing when I get these tickets for baseball, both by me and the family. So before spring training even started, I'm like, okay, let me see what games are available. How's it work with my schedule? And I go and I look and I go, oh man, Pirates Braves would be good. Pirates actually play, I think, the Yankees tomorrow, and I was going to maybe go to that. But anyhow, so I'm going through all of it. And so I clicked on the Yankees one for Saturday, but then I forgot. There's a gazillion Yankee fans, and they all want to see Aaron Judge. So it drives the price.
Let's go Yankees.
The worst. I'm like, okay.
Outside the parking lot of a spring training game.
Yeah, and that game would be at McKechnie. I'd be down in Bradenton. I'd be able to see where the Pirates play, and yet it'd be overrun by New Yorkers, Yankees fans, and I couldn't do it. And I knew what it would be, too. It would be that, but it would also be that they all just want to see Aaron Judge, who's larger than life. I mean, I get it, and unbelievable player. But I thought, okay, I'm going to click on this link. I have a feeling these particular tickets are going to be 5 times what any other spring training ticket is. And I was right. To sit even in a decent seat, third baseline, something like that, you're talking hundreds of dollars per ticket.
Hundreds?
Like, hundreds per 200, 250. I'm like, for a spring training game? No, man. I'm not spending $1,000 on my family to see a spring training game that's going to be overrun with people yelling, let's go Yankees. I'm not doing it. So then I thought, okay, well, Pirates, Braves. And it was considerably cheaper, but not cheap. And this is where, and you've accused me of this, and it's not a bad thing to be accused of. I spoil my kids. I do. I buy them very expensive things, not in a way like they're tough. I make them earn stuff. But if we get a chance to go somewhere or I'm buying a present of a sort, I'm going to do it right.
Well, yes, and that's a good thing for a father to do. However, given the treatment they're going to receive tomorrow night, you could have given them some outfield tickets on Sunday. Would have been all right.
I could have, but then I have to sit in the outfield.
There it is. And now we find the root cause of the issue.
No, so I was like, no, I'm not doing that. One of the great things about the venue of a spring training game, especially one of these older places like down in Bradenton, you're so close to the action. You're right on top of. So I bought. We're behind home plate. If you watch tomorrow, Sunday, you'll see us behind home plate.
All right.
I mean, we're right behind. And it's going to be awesome.
12:05 first pitch. What are we
I got to
talking?
double check. I think so. Yeah.
So you can get home for the Sunday of the players. This is what I was going to lead up to ask.
I will be home for Sunday of the Players.
All right.
I'll be able to see.
You're going to find, you're going to get to hat tricks early tomorrow to make sure you can watch the third round?
I am going to get the hat tricks tomorrow.
Great wings.
I know. I've been there.
Yeah.
Many times.
For the people, all the people, go down to Tampa.
Yeah. Hat tricks is great.
If you want to get
it's
to
a
hat
cool
tricks,
venue. Got to get there early.
About 3 hours before the game to ensure you get a seat.
Yeah. And their wings are fantastic. It's a busy day tomorrow. I'm going to see my grandmother. She's 96 years old. I'm going to take her out to eat as well. A lot of stuff.
Going to your spot in Treasure Island?
Yeah, we going to my spot. Yeah, going to be good. And then she
specifically on. I'm not going to. You got very uncomfortable.
I'm just saying, yeah, it's good. It's going to be great. And then from there, make my way up to Tampa, and then head to hat tricks, and then go to the game.
You staying in Tampa tomorrow night?
No, driving back.
Okay,
not to Tally, but to my parents' house. So it's
Christy driving tomorrow.
No,
you guys flipping for it?
I don't get loose at things where the kids are involved.
All right,
so you don't have to worry about me there. Think about this: I drove back after the Cheez-It Bowl.
Yeah, you did.
I drove back that night with the kids after we went to the Cheez-It Bowl, and I went as a fan after I did the pregame, did all the stuff with you, and then I just went as a fan, and we went, cheered it on, great game, and then I drove back in the dead of night, but I didn't regret it because once you get home, that's the way to do it. You're like, okay, it may be 3:00 in the morning, but I'm waking up in my bed.
Yeah, yeah. There is always a moment of doubt with an hour and 45 minutes to go as you begin your venture on I-10, and there's thinking, man, did I really want to do this? I-10, there's a road that'll put you to sleep. I-10 is it.
It's the worst drive. It's the worst drive. But you're right, Ryan. I'm glad that you did it as well. Makes me feel better.
What? Ryan spent nearly $500 on softball tickets?
Well, at OU, it's a big deal.
Are they in left field?
They're probably behind home plate.
Are the seats on the field between the shortstop and the left fielder?
I don't know. I don't know the venue at Norman, but my man he spent some good money.
What?
Oh, P. Simpson. That's good. The outfield is for AM radio host Tom. Poor people. We're not doing that. We're sitting behind home plate. It's going to be a good time. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I'll get to see the end of the Players, and I'll get to. I'm regretting that I'm missing the weekend.
Maybe that's why we said the FM dial, P. Simpson, way back when.
Mm-hmm. Listening from Oklahoma near Jeff's kinfolk. If you're near where my family owned a farm for a very, very long time, and some family is still there, that means you're near Okemah, and that means you're in the middle of nowhere. If you're in Okemah, Oklahoma, Lewis, run. Go somewhere else. Now, the farm was awesome, and I have great childhood memories. That side of my family, I love that part of Oklahoma, but I got to tell you, there's like 60 people in Okemah. There is nothing.
Well, then what's he running from? He's not running from anybody.
Boredom.
Apparently, they have internet there.
He's running from boredom. It's a ghost town, I tell you. Oh, it's funny. Somebody else mentioned they spent $450 on a 3-day minimum in Tallahassee in 2011, but it was worth it. Yeah, fair enough. You'll go. Hey, what's the most you've ever spent? This is a good subject. We're all sports fans. What's the most you've ever spent on a ticket for a sports item?
For one sports item?
Just a sports anything. Yeah. What are you willing to spend?
Ooh, well, Ryder Cup wasn't cheap.
Right. I knew you went to the Ryder Cup.
Because we got the whole week pass, and
see, that's
we
the
didn't
thing.
unload the whole week pass, and that was a pretty penny. That was well into the 4 figures.
Yeah.
But I have wanted to do that since I was half the size of Clark,
Well,
half the age of Clark.
I'm seeing it right now. Folks are saying, look, going out to the national championship in, 2013, you got to fly to Los Angeles. You got to have a place to stay. You've got to buy those tickets. You're going to be there for 5 days, 4 days. That's doing some things.
If you're talking about the total package of everything you spent, the Ryder Cup is blush-worthy. If I'd said the number, you'd be like, really?
Oh, no, yeah, that's one of those once-in-a-lifetime things.
Because the hotel, although there's a long story there, but the gift shop, dear God. When I got to the register, the guy said, do you want to guess which I thought was awesome. The guy knows where he is.
He said, "You want to guess?
Do you want to guess?" And I did, and I was about $200 light.
When I go, so for example, and this is the thing, you have to tell yourself, all right, look, I like paying for experiences. So those are things you're going to remember. A shirt, maybe not so much, but an experience. And you had an experience of a lifetime at the Ryder Cup with people you love. You'll remember that when you're 85. That will always be on your mind. Like when we went skiing last year. Not cheap. That one will hurt your feelings a little bit. And when you're actually pulling the trigger, the second you're like, okay, I got the whole package. We ski lift, we got our passes, how many days, our rentals for here on the mountain. We're doing, and then you hit the button. You're like, you can feel it.
Yeah.
There's a charge that goes through your hand.
It better be worth it.
You're like, God, dog it. Yeah. But then you end up doing it. And you're like, this is a great experience. They'll never forget it.
Yeah.
All of that.
Oh.
Well, my dumbass, I cannot help myself. Everybody on here knows I'm a Pirates fan. There aren't too many of us, first of all, because we're terrible. But also because when I go down to Bradenton, that's my one chance. Now, I usually make it to Pittsburgh once every other year, go see a series up at PNC. The park is so beautiful. You got to go. But if I they have the gift shop, and it's all Pirates. It's the only place I can get my Pirates gear, and it's all baseball related, and they'll have the throwback 79 gear. They got it all. They must see me coming every spring break. Like, there he is. That's that sucker. Because he's going to get his kids a shirt. He's going to get himself a couple because he's got to stock up for this upcoming season. Usually by the time I get down to spring training, it's been a year, and whatever Pirates cap I was wearing is worn to a frazzle. So then I got to go get another Pirates cap. I walk out of that damn shop, 800 in the hole on Pirates gear, like an a-hole. And this is what makes me want Robert Nutting to die. Because the owner of the Pirates doesn't care about people like me, and yet I'm dumb enough to continue to give his franchise money.
I can tell you, your sons are getting to the age now where they will be making field trips to different cities.
Well,
in the country.
one of them's doing it this week.
In 2005, as a high school senior, I was in Manhattan, went to Columbia, where there was just a collective of all high schools around the country that come for a journalism conference. And we had, I think it was a 4-night stay in Midtown, taken care of. But then there are a lot of restaurants. We're going to do the experience. We're going to go to the different neighborhoods and eat different things. So please, parents, if you can, outfit your kid with some money so that we can go and experience these things. And I would order like a salad and water for each and every one of those meals because I went to the Mets shop in Midtown Manhattan where they had all the stuff. The internet and delivery wasn't the way it is now. I didn't have that kind of money in my pocket, except my parents gave it to me. I came home with 7 or 8 awesome things. And my folks said, really? Where did you find the money to get that?
Yeah.
And they finally coaxed it out of me. I wasn't smooth. I was like the pink Cadillac. I started wearing all the stuff right away. They're like,
yeah, that's how you get whacked.
1 hat's enough, but 3 hats, 2 jerseys, a jacket. They're like, what did you do? I said, I ate salads several days because I wanted to spend the money on the stuff.
At least you didn't get robbed like I did in the Port Authority when I was 16 years old at knife point. That was fun. Robbed of all my cash because I'm a dumbass holding all of my cash in my wallet and looking at all the tall buildings, Tom, going, Mark, Mark, Mark. Didn't take long. The radar was fierce. That was the 80s. In the 80s, New York City was not a nice place to be meandering about.
But you know what? A few decades later, if you were robbed at the same situation, you're dead. At least it was, you were in the right time to be still here entertaining the masses.
And they had a sense of humor. They gave me back my wallet with $1 in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I took everything but the $1.
Did he say something cute like,
he said,
I wouldn't take all of your money.
Wouldn't take your last $1. Is what he said. And the thing was, there was a guy behind me that had the knife to my back, and the guy in front of me was the one grabbing the wallet. So I couldn't move. And I was a kid. So what was I going to do? I was scared. I'd be scared now, I suppose, but I was 16.
Wearing a mask? Or was he?
No, broad daylight. People walking by watching me get robbed.
Really?
Yeah. I've been back to New York countless times since then, and it's always been a wonderful experience. I learned a very valuable lesson. Don't look at all the tall buildings while you're just meandering about with your wallet full of cash.
Walk with pace.
Walk with pace like you belong there, and just keep moving.
You're in a hurry.
Yeah. It's a classic moment. It was what a dumbass I was. Yeah, I was doing this. Look at that. It just screams. Somebody robbed this kid. I'll do it if you guys aren't. Somebody robbed this kid. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A pedestrian was struck by a vehicle Wednesday night, according to a Tallahassee Police Department spokesperson. Officers responded to the intersection of Thomasville Road and East 6th Avenue just before 8:45 p.m. regarding an adult male pedestrian who was struck. The pedestrian sustained non-life-threatening injuries and was transported to a local hospital. As a result of the crash, the driver received a citation. The city of Tallahassee announced Wednesday that TPD was re-accredited by the Commission for Florida Law Enforcement accreditation with Excelsior recognition. The police department earned the achievement for the second time in 6 years, and Excelsior is the highest level of sustained achievement that can be obtained by an agency. To earn Excelsior recognition, a law enforcement agency must earn re-accreditation for 5 successful cycles by the CFA. Since 2002, the city said the Tallahassee Police Department has maintained CFA accreditation. This is Rachel Lene with your World Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Kara Foster with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Some showers and thunderstorms likely today, cloudy with our high nearing 80. Showers may continue early tonight, then staying partly cloudy with a low around 51. Sunshine on Saturday with a high of 77, and clear skies throughout Saturday night with a low around 55. More showers possible on Sunday, sunny with our high nearing 81. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. With all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently it's 67 degrees.
My man Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space.
Well,
you got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinking. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Hey, Matt.
Yes, Greg?
You know all the different ways that you can listen to Real Talk 93.3?
There are several.
So we've got realtalk93.com. You can go back and listen to all of our shows in the podcast section.
That's right. You can also listen on our app as well.
Search Real Talk 93.3 and look for the red microphone and download our app. Never go anywhere without us.
And of course, you can always listen right on the radio.
Well, they are listening.
Are they?
If they're hearing this commercial, then they're listening.
That's true. I hadn't thought about that.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
I don't know. Ryan was saying he was close to pulling the trigger on San Francisco Giants season tickets, $8,000. I love baseball, but you better be going to every last one of those 81 home games. That's a lot. I've been to that stadium, been to a game, been on the field.
You pick 10 good ones, spend a quarter of that amount, and be happy.
Well, that's what Corey did this year for the Braves, I think. And he was nice enough to tell me that, hey, I got that home series against the Pirates for you if you want them.
He did the same for the Mets and the Twins for Jamie and I. I think we're going to go up for the Twins game.
It'd be really good. We were asked about the emotional. Do you count the emotional toll? This poor person had the experience of going to the 28-3 blown lead in the Super Bowl. That's a toughie.
Ouch.
It's a toughie.
I felt your pain somewhat, only for an instant, when Jalen Ramsey got run over in 2013. I felt that pain. But then it went away because we went down the field and scored and answered and won the national championship.
Bring it up all the time. If he makes the tackle, we lose the game.
Probably so.
It's really important that he got trucked.
Yeah.
And he did. I mean, trucked.
Unholy.
They were tired, and that was tough. And listen, and it's still great that it happened, because when you go back and watch it and you look at the game time and you look at the score, you realize if he brings him down there, tick, 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 we're in trouble. They're gonna give up the score because they're beat. They're just tired. And now we got to wait, another minute?
Yeah.
You're going to have no time when you get the ball back. He needed to get trucked there. It's crazy the things that have to happen. The tipped pass, on the final drive. The play calling was exceptional. I remember Warchant did a story. Corey did a story with Jimbo documenting that drive, what he was thinking, what they were calling, and why on that final drive. But listen, how close is that to becoming completely undone? That ball is tipped. If it hangs in the air another half second, that's picked. And all of the best laid plans.
Yeah. How about so I agree with you 100% on if Jalen makes the tackle or he gets trucked and Trey Mason just falls afterwards, we probably lose.
Yeah.
What if the halfback screen pass is a touchdown? Do we still lose? Because that's the
What
Freeman.
was the time on the clock on the Freeman play?
I'll look it up, but significant.
Like 44 seconds, maybe?
Fair, yeah, probably so. So it probably would have been 40 seconds.
Yeah, well, we were exhausted. It would have been tough. I don't know.
We would have had to stop him in that first series because that's what we had done on the drive in which Jalen got trucked, was that we forced a third down with two amazing plays, one by Christian Jones, one by MEJ.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was the throw against his body into the sliding
Dumbest thing
receiver,
ever, yeah.
and it's a football-sized window.
Mm-hmm.
Then they get past midfield, and LaMarcus makes a beautiful play on first down. He's kind of in the wrong place, but he just extends his arm and makes a tackle on a zone read. And that's the play before Mason scored. So I think you have to get off the field early, or else they're going to be at the plus 40-yard line with a shot with 20-some-odd seconds to go.
I wonder if for as long as I live, will there be a play that affected me emotionally more than the kickoff return? The kickoff return where we had climbed the mountain and taken the lead. Now, you can't know what's going to happen subsequently and all of that, but because we were so despondent for the whole game that this was happening, that this team was way too good. If they had lost that game, I would have never forgiven Jimbo. I mean, I would have been unprofessional. Like, well, whatever.
Yeah, if it comes out
somehow you lost the most to one of the sorriest teams to ever make it to the national championship game, and with one of the best teams to ever be assembled, you lost that game.
Yeah, and it would have come out that they knew the plays.
Right. Well, it did anyhow.
But I mean, in a loss though, consider what that would have done.
No, I know.
He might have gone to Texas.
I get mad about it anyhow. Thinking about it, I get mad that we had to endure that entire.
He might have said peace.
2.5 quarters. What are you doing out here, man? That was brutal.
Yeah, I gotta tell you one that's in the running. You would understand it because we share the team. But when Stamkos scored in the playoffs in the Cup Finals, he had one shift. It's his first crack at it. He scores.
He's flying.
And we knew at the time.
Yeah, he was hurt already.
We knew at the time what he was playing through off the record, but it was a torn groin. It was just the core muscle torn to bits.
Brutal.
And then he comes out on the ice and he scores. And then he's not available for the rest of the time because he hurt himself.
On the play.
I mean, wow.
It's pretty incredible.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, it's really cool. Yeah, but I don't know that I've seen a play from one of my teams, in this case, the kick return, that he almost took my breath away. Because you can see it. You can see he's going to hit the hole, and ain't nobody catching him. I don't care what kind of angle. And so when he hits that cut, and you're sitting there watching it, and you and I were next to each other, and I remember kind of going,
yeah,
it takes your breath away.
I couldn't do anything. I was just scanning the field, checking for hankies because kick return usually there's laundry, especially if it's a long one. Didn't see any, and you just realize the monumental nature. You're watching him, and his arms are pinned back by Carlos, and he's just talking.
Oh,
and the band's there. How it gets mustered. Wow. Like there's nothing. There wasn't a cheer that I couldn't have summoned a yell of support. It was just, wow, that is unbelievable.
Yeah. There haven't been too many moments where I was. So remember this most recent little, very small window that lasted 3 years where the Pirates won 95 plus games in 98 wins in one season? Because I have been a diehard fan of that organization since since I can remember, 77, 76. So I when I was 6, 7 years old, started watching the Pirates. Of course, they won the World Series when I was 8 years old. I remember it. And then they did a whole lot of nothing until they were really, 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 really great in the early 90s and lost in game 7s to the Braves and once to the Reds, all in dramatic fashion. Punches to the cojones, the Sid Bream play, the whole deal. And now you fast forward all the way again, where they've been really bad forever. And then, McCutchen wins the MVP and the team is loaded. And, here's our chance. There were a couple games that season. One of them was a McCutchen walk-off with 2 outs and 2 strikes. That was a really pivotal game. And it was against the Cardinals, who I hate. And I had conceded a loss, and I was sitting in my living room. And when he hit it, you knew it. And it was one of those. Baseball does this to you.
It does.
Baseball does this to you.
Because it gives you time.
Oh, you got a lot of time. And I'm sitting. It's late at night.
Yeah.
The whole family's asleep. I know I should be in bed, but it's been a great game. I'm watching. I'm like, damn, we're going to lose this game. And then he connects, and I love Kutch. And he hits that, and I went, oh, and I remember sitting up on my couch, holy, he did. And then I'm watching that celebration. Got the get the heebie-jeebies. It was great.
There was a game in 15. Baseball, you're right, does this because it's almost like you can lay a soundtrack underneath it. Because this crescendo that it builds to, you feel it. You've got time to consider what's happening. It's good. It's the good and the bad of baseball. It's the lead-off walk in the 9th inning when you have a lead in a game that matters.
Yeah, as soon as it happens, there we go.
Because you've got time to consider that you're going to lose this game. And most of the time, actually, you don't. Most of the time, you don't. But it feels like every time you do when there's a leadoff walk.
You can't walk the leadoff hitter in the 9th of a one-run game. Cannot do it. Should be against the law.
So I was out with a bunch of the interns at the CP, and it was Mets, Nats. They were just going. They weren't losing. From about July 1st on, they didn't lose ball games. They're losing 7-1 in this particular game. It's on the corner television by the door to the deck. I'll never forget where it was in the place. So they're like, that's a tough break, but you guys have been red hot, no big deal. I got an eye on it. I'm sitting in the right spot. They're all facing away from it. 7-3.
Oh, now see, I hate it. I hate it. As you're watching it happen, you're like, really?
I don't want to let them know. The moment I let them know, it's going to stop. This is the superstition that's kicking in. And then they turn and they go, oh, my God, Cespedes is up. I'm like, yep. Okay.
Yeah.
And then he hits one deep left. The call is actually pretty funny because Keith Hernandez laughs as it's in the air. It's a drive to deep. Keith goes, whoa, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's just these are the little things you'll never forget. It's the choke and doke.
I was in the stands. Well, I was in the stands with my dad for the choke and joke. And and I was this close to leaving.
I was crying in the driveway. I was 5, 6 years old. And my family came out and got me and said, we're tying. And I thought they were lying to me. I'm like, don't lie to me.
Have you ever gone back and watched that game from start to finish?
Yes.
That is a game you can go and watch over and over and over again. A, because they come all the way back. But there are so many magnificent plays made in that game. Like a lot of times when you blow a huge lead, when a team blows a huge lead, there's something that's just inexcusable. You'll see, somebody just coughs it up or does something ridiculous. Florida State had to take it. Now, hubris played a part of that loss for Florida because Steve Spurrier refused to just turn and hand the ball off 3 times up the middle on each of the possessions because his ego wouldn't let him win in a way that he didn't want to win. If he stops throwing the ball, we're not coming back, but he wouldn't.
Just one of the drives.
Yeah, he just won't do it. And so you're watching this play out in real time going, that arrogant SOB is going to pass his way to a loss. He's going to somehow choke this away because he refuses to admit he's been figured out in the second half. That Mickey's figured it out, and now he can't move the ball via the air the way he wants to. And just run the ball, you're going to win the game.
Victory's not enough. He wants to stomp all over.
He wants to say, So you're watching that play out in real time. You're like, wow, the ego is very powerful. It is very powerful. But guys are making plays all over the field. It's insane.
Contortion catches.
Oh, the dumbest things ever. I have watched that thing.
The interception.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm watching catches. I'm watching throws that Danny Cannell's made. All these moments you're going. And also the moments where you realize that something's going to happen, that the dream that was just barely alive is now a thing that is inevitable. I think at 31-17, the whole stadium kind of looked at each other like, oh, this is going to happen.
We got to stop here.
This is going to, we got to stop here. This is going to happen. Because this dumbass is not going to stop throwing the ball.
Because now there's too much time. Like somehow it goes from there's not enough time to, there's too much time. They're screwed. If you kick the ball to us here, you can't possibly hold on to it long enough. We're going to get it back. So you're done.
Yeah. And you throw one more minute on the clock, we're going to win the game. It's not going to be a tie at all.
30 seconds you might have needed.
Yeah.
That spot at the end was a little slow.
That's Musburger on the call, by the way, and it's the good version of Musburger. It's before he got tired. It's the Musburger that we know and love, who's probably gambling on the game, who makes not so subtle references to gambling on the game during the game. Yeah. I miss that Musburger.
He ran out of steam on the Kermit to bring it full circle.
Oh, he could. Yeah, he was done.
He had nothing left. Well, sorry, he had one call left.
It was past his bedtime
for Trey Mason. He had a call for Trey.
He had a call for Trey, but not the game-winning touchdown. It's true.
You know who?
Yeah, he was done. He was just like, what is that? What is that? All right, listen, so this second hour coming up is fresh. It is from today. It happened just a little over an hour ago before we came on here, but we had to record that because practice starts early today and everybody's racing on over to the practice fields to cover the first day in pads. So stay tuned. Got another hour. I'm wearing the same thing. All good. Be good, everybody. Fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
There's nothing like relaxing in a hot tub after a long day. But if you don't have one, you're truly missing out. Hot tubs and spas have tremendous health benefits, besides just helping you relax. Like improving your sleep, they help with pain relief. They help to better your cardiovascular health, and so much more. And this season is the perfect season to finally buy what you've been wishing for. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas has the hot tubs you need for the price you want. Come shop our huge 12,000 square foot showroom and save today. There's over 50 hot tubs in stock right now, so you won't have to wait weeks on end for that delivery to finally come to town. If you're ready to relax, we're here to show you how. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas. Come visit our huge showroom at 2473 Greer Road with over 50 hot tubs to choose from. You'll be glad you did.
We understand how important it is to have transportation you can rely on. So no matter what the road ahead brings, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for over 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. Learn more at ffbic.com.
This is Rusty Hunt with Florida Farm Bureau Insurance. Please call me today at 850-671-FARM. That's 671-FARM.
Did you know that when you order food delivery through third parties like Uber Eats and Bite Squad, local restaurants lose 30% of their own revenue, and you're actually sending your money to corporate bank accounts in California? Well, now you can truly support our locally owned restaurants by ordering directly from foodiesdelivery.com. Choose from delicious options like El Jalisco, Smitty's Tap House, Hangar 38, Jerry's Cafe, and many more. We take pride in supporting local, and with foodiesdelivery.com, we can actually put our money where our mouth is. Order your next fresh meal today at foodiesdelivery.com.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show.
Talk Radio
Live.
Warchant TV on
93.3 WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. The latest betting odds and line movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now, here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
Tubba Morikawa, one shot off the pace at 7 under par. The Players' Championship at TPC Sawgrass. He's a new favorite at plus 350. Pre-flop favorite John Rahm, a 1 under, tied for 32nd after the first 18. He is 14-1. The NBA today, the Atlanta Hawks, a 1.5 favorite at the Washington Wizards. 238 the total at Capital One Arena. College baseball, Florida State, a $1.95 favorite at home with Pitt, plus 160 in game one of their 3-game ACC series. Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, both 8-1 with the NASCAR Cup race at Phoenix. Sign up now for your free VSiN subscription at vsin.com/subscribe. For more sports betting news and information, go to vsin.com. Mike Sennett, Real Talk 93.3.
Hi, I'm Sean Parr. I host a nationally syndicated radio show, and if you're like me, you don't like to lose. And honestly, who can afford to lose 30% of your 401k or IRA again? This year, I'm all about protection. One way to protect my future, it's investing in real, tangible products. I'm talking about precious metals from the Oxford Gold Group. I mean, why invest in crypto or more stocks that you don't understand? I know. You can put your earnings into something real, like gold and silver, and now is the time to call my friends at Oxford Gold Group and just hear what they have to say. The phone call, it's free. Securing your IRA or 401k with real gold and silver is a portfolio protection plan, and Oxford Gold has made it as easy as 1, 2, 3. One app, one call. You pick your precious metals. That's it. You now own real precious metals just like I do. Call Oxford Gold today and ask about the 1, 2, 3 protection plan. Call 833-899-GOLD. That's 833-899-GOLD. 833-899-4653.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. I mean, please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to drink water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us. We're fine.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mndlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV on a Libations Friday. This hour not looking like last hour because this hour is in the can and the first hour is live. The reason this hour is in the can, making our way on over to the stadium, to the practice fields for the first of the padded practices. So the Warchant crew will be over there. We had to allow time for that and a couple of other things we had to do. So that's why this looks the way that it does, but we definitely wanted to get you both hours of the show in today. You know something, Tom? We didn't talk about it last hour. But how bizarre, and I'll circle back to football, of course. How bizarre is the ending of Boeheim's career? It seems so fitting. It's bizarre. Wake eliminates Syracuse from the ACC tournament. And then Boeheim was asked about his future in the post-game press conference. He said, I think you missed it. I gave my retirement speech on the court last Saturday, and I gave it in the press conference afterwards, and nobody except William Payne, which is the Syracuse team chaplain, figured it out. Are you saying right now that you're going to retire, Boeheim? It's up to the university. Follow-up question. You want to come back? Boeheim. I didn't say that. So what are you saying? You're not saying you're retiring. I just said it. I don't know. So you don't know if you're retiring. I said this is up to the university. Question. You're not sure whether. How will you make the determination about when or if you're coming back? Boeheim, you guess you're just talking to the wrong guy. Question. This is in the post-game press conference, Tom. This is happening between him and a reporter, and they're looking at each other like, what the hell are you talking about? And then the follow-up is, I'm confused. Do you want to come back or not, Jim? Did you just announce your retirement without actually announcing your retirement? What are you saying, Boeheim? No, I said it's up to the university. They have to make a decision. It's up to them. I hope we can come to an agreement. I mean, that remains to be seen. Within 3 hours after that exchange, Tom, Syracuse announced that Boeheim would not be returning next season, and he would be succeeded by the assistant head coach, Adrian Autry. Boeheim played poker with his bosses from the dais. They called his bluff within hours of the moment, and then he looked like a complete ass backed into a corner and had to announce that he was retiring, or it's tell the world you've just been fired? How beautiful is that?
Oh, it warms my heart. And it happened when we were covering practice on Wednesday.
I know.
I think the official announcement from the university just before Mike Norvell's press conference, maybe 20, 30 minutes before Norvell's second presser. I don't know that I'll say 10 years from now, I remember where I was when, because I'm indifferent about people I don't care for.
Right.
But I will say that this particular gentleman, and I use that term loosely, is the type of guy that if you played him in Monopoly, he would argue as the banker technicalities as to why he should be getting $10 more for a certain move he's made relative to others. That's who this guy is. And so therefore, when there's an excruciating exchange, and that room had to be like a Larry David special in terms of awkward episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, when he has to go through that pain and feel the vacuum in the room, that brings me joy. That brings me real joy.
I think, you know how I love these moments where every now and again, the bad guy gets the comeuppance and we all get to watch it. This played out oddly. It's not a subject on this show all that often because college basketball has not been my forte this year. And what I mean by that is I've not enjoyed the sport this year. I suspect I'm going to enjoy the tournament because it's wide open. There are no elite teams. Anybody can get upset. I know enough from watching this year to know that. So I'm excited for the tournament. But I didn't spend a lot of time on college basketball this year, twofold. A, we were as bad as we have ever been in the history of me covering the program, quite literally. It's never been this bad. I hate it. It makes me sick in so many ways. On the one hand, when I watch us play, I get sick. We suck. We're terrible. There's nothing redeeming about what we do. On the other hand, the off-the-court aspect of all of this, I hate this drama for a man I have immense respect for and who I think deserves better. But I'm also pragmatic. I'm a realist. I have always tried to be as objective as I can be with an admitted inherent bias towards Florida State. But that is an unacceptable season. We have to ask hard questions. We have to say what it is. We have to talk about it because we would with anybody else in any other program that we're discussing or any other team for that matter. It wouldn't even have to be Florida State. If we were watching from afar this situation play out, we'd have to have this discussion. So I've hated that. I've hated having to think about what that is, what that looks like, what that means. What should Alford do? So for all those reasons, we haven't had a lot of college basketball talk. But this situation with Boeheim, he's a despicable man. He's a very difficult man to say anything nice about. Every time you bring him up, you want to bring up all of the foibles and ludicrous arrogance and hubris. So to have it come to a head like this after they get waxed by Wake and then he has to say what he has to say, it's just beautiful. And it sounds like, though, Tom, and this is where the situations are different, it sounds like the university had enough of that arrogance and hubris that I just alluded to, and they would not give in to whatever it was he was doing behind the scenes, demanding more money, more years, whatever it would be. And then at some point, he tried to call their bluff, even before then, by saying, I'll decide whether or not I want to come back. And the university's like, we'll decide whether or not you come back. That was public, by the way. That kind of happened in a war of words between him and the athletic department and the school president. He tried to play it as if I'm bigger than all of you. And they went, oh, no, you work for us. You work for the university. You're an underling. You're not above the president or the athletic director. And he thought he was. And then this happened, and they left him to sit out there in the breeze and look like a fool. It was fantastic. And he decided to double down. So you're right.
Yeah,
this was fun.
When you deal with folks like this, and Florida State's had one or two in their various sports over the years, just let them keep talking. Keep talking, pal. Keep going. You're only making yourself look more like a clown than, most of the world knows. And perhaps you're showing who you truly are to the world, and that's okay. And for Syracuse, I could see why they'd fire him. They haven't been – this is now a couple of years in a row in which they've lost at minimum 15 games. 15 games at Syracuse. I know you like to say often that you're not a victim of your own success. I think at times you are, and it's a good thing because you set a new standard that you can't live up to, and that's all right. That's all right. You got there. Most people don't. Good for you. But, if you are at Syracuse and you're looking at the future of your athletic department and your athletic programs, a lot of the discussions we've been having for the last month relative to Florida State and conference realignment, expansion, and so forth, you better go all in on something soon because you're not going to have money to spread around to a lot of different places. And if basketball has lost 32 games the last 2 seasons at Syracuse, that's all you're known for. That lacrosse. But in terms of the big money sports, you better make a change now because you need to position yourself as a basketball brand before this sweeping change comes, another round of it, in the next year or two. So I think it's a wise move by their athletic department.
Fun. It's fun, and we get to see him, kind of dangled out there in the wind. Meanwhile, I want to point out I am sad that I'm going to miss the series this weekend for baseball. I'm going out of town. It's always this time of year where things get weird, where you have, your kids go on spring break and things happen. You try to get out of town for a little while, but you might miss something here. And this is something I am going to miss. Buster Posey, one of my favorite athletes to ever play at Florida State. Plus, I'm excited about the weekend series. And then also, you've got all these people coming into town. It's a big recruiting weekend, Tom, and you've got former players in town. Derwin is coming back into town. Jameis Winston coming back in town. Old Sassy's coming back into town as well. I noted somebody came up to me the other day and said, did you know that those guys that are coming back to town are not doing interviews? They don't want to do interviews with the press. And I suggested that was something probably born from the university side of things. I don't think it's the players themselves. Now, I'm not trying to carry water for any of these players, but all those guys have done plenty of interviews in the past. We've had Jameis on countless times. I think we could probably have him on again. Derwin's good with the press. Jalen can be prickly, but I don't think it was about not wanting to speak to the press. When the university asks you to come back for their purpose, it's a very different deal than if you're doing it on your own and you're seeking publicity for a function.
I don't think that the two of those players want to be asked about their next stop. And one of them is Jameis and the other is Jalen Ramsey. And, the trade talks, what he might fetch in exchange for his services. I'm seeing, some NFL insiders say that it's now down to a second-round pick because the tape is saying that his game is starting to diminish. It happens to everybody at the NFL. I'm sure that that's not something that Jalen takes kindly to. In his next stop, you might see a surge born out of spite, and he's like Patrick Reed in that way. He could summon the negative energy and channel it and turn into one of the best cover corners in the NFL the last 20 years. But I'm sure that they don't want to be asked about those things. And then also, I'm pretty sure that the university itself is going to publish content in which they're featured and or interviewed one way or the other. But you get a chokehold on that from the university's perspective when they put out hype videos, photos with recruits, things along those lines. I love it. I love the embracing of the former players. And, Jimbo's first iteration, he was pretty good about that. Remember the details that some of the former players would tell you that they never got a phone call. Like they just never got a phone call before it was time to go and show up and pay respects to Bobby Bowden's final game. That, they really didn't hear from the university that much. It died down as everything did with that program. But that Coach Norvell is bridging the gap back to 10 years ago, and time flies. It is the 10th anniversary of the national championship coming up this season. It's just smart business, and it also makes everybody feel good. We all know what it is. It's nostalgia in front of you, but everybody likes nostalgia. Look at the way that movies and TV are put out these days. Everybody likes going back and looking on the fonder times, and that was one hell of a run. A lot of these guys are going to be a part of that, that were from the 29 straight.
29 straight wins, and when you say it out loud like that, you're reminded of just the domination of a program that had been dormant for a decade and turned into a monster again and reawakened some of the ghosts of yesteryear. You were reminded, I was, of the dominant teams from 93 and 94 and 95, all of the 90s, 99, obviously, too. Wire to wire, first one to ever do it. I was reminded of all of that. It was great to rekindle that, and these guys are responsible for that, and so in a big way. And so, yeah, everybody who does like to see them return and come back and be a part of something special. It's interesting with Jameis. You bring up Jameis' situation, and I would like to talk to him this offseason. I'm sure we'll get an opportunity. The Saints have offered a restructured deal to Jameis Winston. He has 1 year remaining on a 2-year deal that he signed in 2022. So he has until the start of the new league year Wednesday to accept the offer, or he'll be released. Obviously, for people who haven't been paying attention this week, the Saints signed Derek Carr on Monday, which means Winston, he's not competing for a starting role. And I think if you're Jameis Winston, he counts 15.2. Yeah, I just pulled it up against the 23 salary cap. They can adjust it by lowering Winston's $12.8 million salary to pay him in line with other backups, like a 1-year deal for $3 million, Tom, or Andy. That's untenable. So he won't be back with the Saints. And if you're Jameis, you've got one more opportunity to start somewhere. In my opinion, he's got one more chance to go start somewhere, and he's going to have to make a good decision. And you got to find out what the market is. What's the market for Jameis Winston? I don't know. I think he probably has better upside in my mind than he does in a lot of the league's minds, the people who make these decisions. I don't think they think Jameis is a viable starter anymore at a lot of places. I think he's got one more shot. I would like to see a healthy version of him one more time. He has been really injury riddled the last 2 years in New Orleans, so you never got to see it. And remember, he got off to a great start before the injury against the Bucs 2 years ago, and he was playing really well, and he was taking care of the football, and the quarterback rating was high, and he was efficient. I think he's learned some lessons. I'll be curious to see where he ends up. And by the way, I'll say this for all the Bucs fans. I know, Tom, you'd like to have it because it's an incredible show, but it would be bad for him to come back to Tampa because they're not going to be competitive. And so he'd be thrown into a terrible situation again.
Yeah, if they had hired Monken as the offensive coordinator, I'd be more for it than this situation, because then I think you could separate. If they hired Monken, I think they were hiring their next head coach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
You could separate offense versus defense, and then you could potentially flourish. But that situation, we're about to get gutted, and rightly so. This is why you put off your payments to the NFL salary cap for years and years and years when you have a window like they did with Brady. So it's not the healthiest situation for James to come into. But if you recall, last year he finally let loose. He's not one to speak out of turn when it comes to football matters, and he did last year in the locker room when he was asked about Andy Dalton taking his starting position, and Jameis said, "Look, you're not supposed to lose your job. I was told you're not going to lose your job for being hurt. I had a broken back. Now I'm healthy, and they're telling me I'm the backup. So bully for me. How about that? They were lying to me. I don't think he would take a restructured deal with people that lied to him. So you're right. I think on the open market, he's got one more chance to come in and be paid something close to starters money and have a chance at the job. Beyond that, I think it would be, it's time to make a choice. Do you want to be a backup for another 5 years? And when you get your chance, maybe that could be your path back to prominence. Or do you want to call it a day and see how that slider's working on the mound and give it a shot? Maybe live the dream. You can afford to live the dream and take a shot in single or double A and see how much you can make of it as a pitcher. I'd be interested to see. In a weird way, I almost want that choice to come to bear because I'd love to watch baseball Jameis play again. But also, I think that you're correct. I think somebody could get a diamond in the rough at a pretty low price this offseason. He's just got to be right about the organization that he trusts.
Yeah, and I can't find a good spot for him right now. I mean, I'm sure if I sat down and thought about it more that there might be a perfect place, but it's tough. Like
Denver?
Well, it's funny you bring up Denver. Of course, I thought about that too, but he would be going to Denver right now to be a backup to Russell Wilson because they're going to try to make it work since they just gave Russell Wilson over $200 million. So they've got to find a way to get Russell to play well. And if he doesn't play well this year, then Jameis could be the starter. But he would have to sign now as a backup in Denver. And in a weird way, hope like hell that Russell stinks, which might very well happen. It would be fascinating if Sean Payton, who knows Jameis well, decided, I'm going to bring him in. I'm going to bring him in, which is kind of code for you're on notice, Russell.
Yeah, that would be, if we were working in Denver Sports Talk Radio, would be worse markets to work in, by the way. But if we were working at Denver Sports Talk Radio, it would be Sean Payton brought in his guy. That would be the way you'd say it. So Sean Payton brought in one of his guys as insurance.
Yeah.
And I maybe Jameis doesn't want that because there's a lot of terrible quarterback play at the NFL level. Like maybe Atlanta is a good fit for him. That's a team that's kind of on the up and up. We'll see if they bring in a draft a rookie, but maybe he would be a placeholder there and you get a free opportunity to be a starter for a year to usher in the next guy. I don't know. There are plenty of markets where quarterback play has been awful. So I think he would get a crack in a training camp to win a starting job. Just to, again, you got to pick the right fit, right offense.
Don't you feel like if you're Atlanta that you have a chance right now to make an aggressive play for Lamar Jackson and shake up your future and shake up the apple cart? You can go get that guy. That's an offense where you have your tight end, you have your elite tight end, you have a good receiver. They probably need to bring in more weapons, but they have, you go, there's a draft coming up. I feel like that would work. I mean, they have some pieces in Atlanta. They looked, by the second half of last season, they started to look like a team that could be a problem. Yeah. I think it could be interesting if they would make a play at a quarterback. I mean, they need a quarterback. They just cut Marcus Mariota, basically said, have a good day. You're terrible. Go get your quarterback.
So they've got $62 million in cap space, just under 63 in the raw number. The effective number is 58. So that's still a crap ton of money. And you're right, they were impressive, like legit. I make fun of the Atlanta sports market as anybody for multiple reasons. But that team under Smith kind of took on his personality because that dude's prickly. He's really not a pleasant man to look at, to watch coach, to see interviewed. But his team was an extension of who he was, and they were a tough out. They were a tough team to beat. And if they had a little bit more explosiveness on offense, who knows? Because they do have the physicality to go with it. If you're going to have Lamar Jackson as your quarterback, you got to have physicality in the run game. And I think Atlanta has that.
Yeah, and I think when we look at the quarterbacks that are available, I mean, everybody's wanting to know, who's going to end up where. And listen, if you're going to go out and get in a quarterback, you don't bring in Jimmy Garoppolo or Baker Mayfield or these other bums. Obviously Derek Carr just went to the Saints, so there's still some names out there. You look at Geno signed back with Seattle. What's left? What's left is, all these guys that you don't want: Jacoby Brissett, Andy Dalton, Taylor Heineke, Drew Lock, Carson Wentz. Yeah, we're going to go Lamar Jackson. I'm not bringing these bums in. I would do it if I were Atlanta. I don't want to do it in Tampa. You hear Tampa radio, they talk about, look, guys, we're starting over.
Oh, yeah.
We're starting over. We're gutting the team.
Caleb Williams, that's who you want to be your quarterback.
That's right. You start Kyle Trask this year, and you let him take that ass kicking that he's going to take.
And if he's good, okay, he's good.
Great.
He stumbled on something. That's wonderful. You re-sign him, and we walk on into the sunset that is a playoff run in a year or two. But if he isn't,
and he won't be,
door number 2 is, a real good look at Caleb Williams, because I would imagine the Bucks right now, if you had to set an over-under for the win total, 4.5. Is that about right?
Yeah, maybe a little high. I'm with you. This is a devious thing, but if you're a Bucks fan, the way you tank without tanking is saying we got to see what we have in Kyle Trask. And he can't play.
Yep.
But you can say that publicly. We got to see. We drafted him. We got to see what we have with Kyle Trask. Now you're throwing him to the Wolves. You got nothing left. You're cutting people left and right. This is a destined to be bad situation. But you don't, put on the brave front. We're going to see what we have with Kyle Trask. We have a lot of faith. He's been in the building. He's worked very hard. He knows the system. And the reason you do that is twofold. He's going to fail, and you're probably going to go 2-15. Well, that serves two purposes. That allows you at the end of the day to probably have the number 1 pick in the draft. And at that point, you get Caleb Williams. It also allows you to fire your head coach, which you kind of already want to do. So now you fire everybody, and then you get a new coach whose quarterback is going to be the franchise and Caleb Williams. This is what we do.
Yes, Lincoln Riley, the next head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I like playing defense, Tom, and he has never done it.
That's okay. He doesn't have to do the recruiting and or the management on any other. It's the NFL. You could just go grab, the corpse of Jim Bates, and we'll be okay. That's how they do in the NFL. You can find an 85-year-old who just likes to blitz a lot, and he does his thing, you do yours. But then that would be awesome because Lincoln would follow Caleb Williams from Norman, and you could say which one followed which, but I don't care. From Norman to LA to Tampa, these two go together.
We got it all worked out in the first segment of the second hour of the Jeff Cameron Show on Libations Friday. It's all worked out, Bucks fans. You're welcome. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Hey Tallahassee, it's Sarah with Seminole Auto Glass. You're probably driving right now, which means you're surrounded by glass. Did you know that each piece is made differently? Your windshield is 2 sheets of glass with a thin plastic in between. This allows it to take an impact without going all the way through. Side and back glasses are typically tempered. This strengthening process is what allows them to be shattered in the event of emergency. Regardless of the glass or how it breaks, we can help. Trust your local auto glass experts. Seminole Auto Glass, proudly serving the Big Bend for over 15 years. Better call Seminole.
Hi, this is Jamie McClenny from Trek Financial in Tallahassee. Managing downside risk in your portfolio is one of the biggest challenges that you'll face in retirement. Trillions of dollars in stimulus from the Federal Reserve and D.C. politicians, combined with zero interest rates, have propped up financial markets since the financial crisis ended in 2009. The Fed recently ended quantitative easing and has started to raise interest rates at a time when the global economy was already slowing. Have you considered what another 50% correction in the stock market would do to your retirement plan? If you're concerned about where this all might be headed and would like to find out about the potential benefits of an active risk management strategy for your portfolio, give me a call at 850-900-5200 and schedule a time for a review of your portfolio from an active risk management perspective.
Make Jamie your first call for a second opinion. Investment advisory services are offered through Trek Financial, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. Please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to tread water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us. We're fine.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mndlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language? In as little as 3 weeks, Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life. celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. I knew we could not put off getting life insurance. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $40 a month. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $18 a month.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-452-5050 or go to SelectQuote.com now. That's 1-800-452-5050. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
Libations Friday, and appreciate you joining us. So Monday's show, Tom and I will be back to do a show on Monday. Next week is the week where we both go out of town. There will be a Jeff Cameron show on Monday, which will give us the opportunity on the air to react to Friday today with football and the pads and all that, and then also the weekend series. But then I think we do Seminole headlines, and then we're off the rest of the week. That's the way the schedule works. So kind of unique the way today's show is set up, for example, but that's why, and that's where we sit. But I when we talk about what's to come with Florida State football, it's funny. Most of the time, you and I think to some degree we are, embrace this week that you get off for spring break, where we always usually take it could be spring training. You could be visiting folks in New York. I could be going wherever it is, with the kids. But I have to admit, this is another area in which football has kind of superseded all of the vacation thought. I sit around here asking myself again, man, I'm going to miss going to practice. I'm going to miss seeing these guys, because every day is another day to have a revelation of a positive kind, in which you talk about this roster and you think to yourself, man, they're good.
Yes, I will miss it to a degree, but I'm shaking my head because take the break while you can get it, because then it's just full pads galore. So this is, it's like you get a little sneak preview with pajama football. Then today you get even more kind of tantalizing sneak preview with pads. This must be a godsend also for the freshmen and the newcomers who are, if their head is swimming about the way that things are done, you get a full week to reset. Okay, now I know what this beast is about. I can put my arms around it. Do I need to get in a little better shape over the week? Let me put myself in position to succeed, come out firing on Tuesday after spring break week. But I'm going to embrace this this little respite for all it's worth, because I feel like once we come back Tuesday and you've got a full pad practice, it kind of just connects all the way to fall camp, because you're going to have answers about position battles by the end of this spring. Not necessarily ironclad, here's your starter, but you're going to know, for example, on the offensive line, here are the 7 or 8 contenders as we exit camp. Here's your nickel corner as we exit camp. Here's the picture of the safeties and whether or not you need to go into the portal and go find a solution for sure, or could you use that roster spot somewhere else? Like, you're going to get some good answers to a lot of our questions by the middle of April. And then what happens after that is, okay, let's assess who are the guys that left. What's the scholarship situation? You have a place or two open. What position do we use it on? When that conversation is concluded, it's June. And as you like to say, when we're in June, you might as well be in football season.
I do. I will it into being, but especially this year when the opening game is LSU in Orlando. Yeah, I think we're all just willing our way through these months, and it's funny. Tom, I don't know how much I hear your point, and I think it's valid. But I want to go back to something here. There's so much teaching going on, and I think that's going to continue in the spring. So throughout the rest of spring, even in pads. So I just don't know that we will have answers to some of those questions definitively.
I hear you. That's why I said I think you're going to find the 7 or 8 contenders in the offensive line.
Yeah,
And you're
okay.
gonna find out, like, I think the nickel corner experiment is likely going to be over by the end of spring camp. You would want to have that answer before Kevin Knowles returns. Do we need Kevin to be the guy for us? Does Azarie look comfortable there? No, he doesn't. All right, let's put him back outside, and it goes to be, Greedy Vance versus Jerion versus Kevin. Or we love Jerion on the outside. Azarie has really taken to the nickel slot. So you know what? We like that. Let's move Greedy Vance somewhere else. Maybe he's a safety. Like I feel like that position on the defense in the defensive backfield in the slot is going to help a lot of dominoes fall. And I just think you said it, and we agreed. We talked about it at the tour of duty that this is going to be a camp of hurt feelings. I think by the end of camp, we're going to know who's going to be lucky to be on the 2 deep on the offensive line, and then who are the true contenders to be starters. They're all good options compared to a couple of years ago, but I think we're going to see some separation here as they go head to head with that D line every day.
Yeah, and I'm very curious to see how well they are able to keep this locker room cohesion together. I'm very curious to see how well they're able to transition from the end of spring to the fall with the roster that is, and how many of those kids stick around. If you're telling me when we look at this offensive line, that you think you get to about 8 guys competing for those 5 spots, I think it may be more, maybe 9. I just think they have that much depth, with quality depth, where it may not be decided yet, and you may have 9 or 10 guys competing. Now, right now they have 12, and we'll see if a couple of them are clearly being separated from. But when that happens with that group or any of the others, running back is another one, and wide receiver is one. We've seen it. So I won't be surprised if the Camp of Hurt Feelings does exactly as it's intended to, with the title being, as I tabbed it, guys deciding to walk. Or can you convince them that, look, sure, you may be the fourth guard we're using out here right now. You got two guards, 2 starters in front of you, and we've got another backup that we like a little bit more than you, and you're the fourth guard. Well, look, man, you're the fourth guard, but one guard goes down due to injury at an injury-prone position, and now you're the backup. You're right there. You're going to get in the game. You're going to play. Like, what's the pitch that Mike Norvell has to make? I love right now all these players so much talking about how they love to come here. They love to be here. They like to be with their brothers. You hear Jordan Travis say that a lot. Like, we spend so much time together. We're here all the time. It's a good thing that we're all pulling in the same direction. It's a good thing we have leadership. It's a good thing we believe in this coaching staff. Well, you're damn right, because you do spend an inordinate amount of time every day at that facility, and you better like the people you're going to war with. Obviously, I know it's not real war, guys. It's football, but you better like these guys. But man, I still think, well, that's true. If I work my butt off, and at the end of spring, it is clear that I am not real close to seeing the field, and I'm a junior, I'm probably gone. I'm probably gone. I'm going to go somewhere where I know I can play, and I got to get film. I got to get tape. I got people. I've got bigger goals. I want to get to the NFL. I got to put tape out there. So I think you're right. We just have to brace ourselves for that at the end of spring, that some guys are going. And at that point, also, does the staff decide that they do need to bring in yet another transfer portal guy, like you were talking about? Like, there might be a couple positions where they decide that's true. We're going to get asked about this till we're blue in the face, because I understand it and I agree, but I think it's nuanced, and I can't get into all the details about that. I'm not trying to make it sound controversial. I'm just saying we're going to continue to be asked about linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
And, would they be willing to go out and bring in a high-profile big name who puts his name out there in the transfer portal at the end of spring, wherever he is? If that's a Georgia player or Bama player or a Michigan player or whomever, would they be willing to do that? And I don't think it's as easy as, well, just look at the depth chart and decide, do you need another guy? I don't think it's that easy.
No, but if it's a no-brainer, I think they do it. You don't take a risk when you have as much coming back in terms of experience, with Bethune playing 1 million college football games in his career. Kalen DeLoach, yet another year in the system, and when he was healthy, he looked like an NFL, in terms of speed, sideline to sideline accelerator at linebacker. The nuances of playing the position, could it be better? Of course, but that speed is very much something that translates to the next level. But you would have to know for a fact that the guy you're getting is going to be a plug-and-play starter and a leader of the defense. If it's an experiment, fall camp is too late. I think at that position, fall camp is too late. It's not worth the risk. And I think by the end of spring, you're going to know where you need help, and it'll probably be in more glaring areas because you only have 2 linebackers on the field at a given time. We think the defensive up front, the interior especially, is going to be better, which means that they should be operating with a cleaner canvas game for game. Safety is a big one to me. Could it be that Omarion Cooper just solves the problem? And when you have a combination of he and Shaheem Brown and Akeem Dent, you feel good about where you are at the position and you don't need to go shopping. Or is it, I'm not so sure, would really like another guy, a Power 5 capable guy to round out a quartet of safeties, and you spend the spot there. I can't imagine there would be more than 2 or 3 spots open when spring is done and attrition happens from spring to fall camp. 3 is probably pushing it. But that's why we do spring beyond the teaching and the learning and the basics. You've got to vet your roster to know we're going for the playoff this year. If there's a big time hole in what we have on either side of the football, we got to address it this summer. We got to address it right now for this season.
I hope you're right. I hope that is the thought process. The thought process, you certainly as a fan, but there's a lot of factors that go into the locker room cohesion that we reference. And you would like to believe the only thing going through the minds of coaches is how to, identifying holes and how to fill them to make sure we have a chance to be our very best. It's that simplistic, right? But it's not always that simplistic. Guys who come back an extra year, you had to converse with them about that decision. You had to talk with them about what it means for them to come back. And at the time, you may have wanted them to come back and needed them to come back. And, I wonder how those conversations go. You then get a guy to say, okay, I'll come back, and you recruit over him in the portal. It would be a problem in some cases. Not all, but I think it would be in some cases.
Okay, so you're talking about Tatum Bethune. Is he good enough? And I think if he's healthy and he doesn't have a busted shoulder and there is some semblance of a run defense like we thought we would see last year that actually materializes in 2023, those 2 factors combined make him a far better football player than we saw in 2022. And Deloach, the same with the injury issue. Dude looked a lot different in September than he did for long stretches of the season afterwards. But I think Tatum Bethune is more than good enough to handle what is necessary to make a playoff run if he's healthy and if you have that quality and healthy rotation up front on the defensive line. I think it'll be amazing to see how much better he looks if that's the case. It's like Jordan Travis having receivers that can win one-on-ones.
Yeah.
He changed, he evolved. That's true. But even if he didn't last year, we'd say, wow, he got better because we could block for him and guys could get open. It's amazing how all these things work in concert.
I completely agree he's good enough if healthy and the group up front is solid, and I think they are. So I'm not saying that. I do think he's good enough. I don't think he's a game-changing linebacker, but I think he's good enough. Same for both those gentlemen. It's that if there is a star out there that could be had, I'm inclined to make that move, regardless of how much better we think Tatum Bethune or Kalen Deloach is going to be. And I don't know that they are because I don't know how that conversation went. I don't know,
I totally agree with you. And I think it would be evident. If you're going to make the move, it's because it's evident to the other 10 dudes on the field. And, that could be that Deloach sits and Bethune is the guy lining up next to this player.
Right.
It would have to be immediately evident to everybody else, like, oh, I see why they did this. All right. I was mad at first, but you can't be mad at that. Look at this guy. I mean, he makes this all better.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If they have an option to go get a star, like a guy that you're like, oh my God, this guy is a mercenary. He's a 1 year. He's going to the league. He's Jermaine Johnson, only he's a linebacker. That kind of a thing. If you have that opportunity, it will be intriguing. Do they pull the trigger at the end of spring to make that happen? Come back, wrap it up momentarily. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Did you know that when you order food delivery through third parties like Uber Eats and Bite Squad, local restaurants lose up to 30% of their own revenue, and you're actually sending your money to corporate bank accounts in California? Well, now you can truly support our locally owned restaurants by ordering directly from foodiesdelivery.com. Choose from delicious options like El Jalisco, Smitty's Tap House, Hangar 38, Jerry's Cafe, and many more. We take pride in supporting local, and with foodiesdelivery.com, we can actually put our money where our mouth is. Order your next fresh meal today at foodiesdelivery.com.
My man, Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space. You got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Wrapping it up, Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Good to be with you on a Libations Friday. Have a great weekend, everybody. This will be good. Time for Tub Talk, Tom. We can do a little Tub Talk here. We can kind of tub it up a little bit before we ride on out and make our way over to the football fields to watch practice and to get excited about seeing these offensive and defensive linemen in pads.
It's time for Tub Talk, brought to you by Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas. Buy yourself the hot tub you've always wanted at the price you've always wanted from Pinch a Penny on Greer Street. Now, it's live to the tub.
While we're floating in the tub, I got to tell you, I kind of doffed the cap to a player in the NBA. I haven't had the chance to do it, but Fred VanVleet made me happy, Tom. I like to have my employees or clients, if you will, of the Jeff Cameron Show PR firm mean what you say and say what you mean. Let's come clean with it now if we've got a problem. Let's get it out there. Players too often remain sort of in the murky waters, ambiguous. They don't want to take a fine. They don't want to handle the repercussions of their comments. But if you've got conviction like Fred VanVleet did the other night, and you're willing to step to the dais in a very calm form, and you're willing to take that fine, I have to admit, as head of the JCS PR firm, I say, go on with it, Fred. That's fine. Well, as long as you know what you're getting into, which is going to be some pushback from the league and a fine, you say what you got to say.
Yep, with the conviction of Pete Weber in the 10th frame. That's go ahead. Yeah, full steam. We like to see this out of our coaches a lot. There was a time once long ago where Freddie Stevenson was guilty of a clip, according to Jeff Flanagan, and he just wasn't. And I believe the post-game comment was, "It's gutless." And okay, does it get us the win? No. Are we close, all too close to a platinum Bohica the wrong way because of that? Yes. But you know what? It's the right thing to do because we all know it was nonsense. And Mike Norvell has walked that line closely a few times. But I love it when a guy says, "Find me." I don't give a beep, and then you just move on. Good.
Well,
good to see.
For those that don't know, he's had a problem with this specific ref for some time. And for a lot of the listeners and viewers, they don't watch the NBA. That's fine. This is not even really an NBA story as much as it is hilarious because Fred got fined $30,000 for his comments after he got a tech the other night. And he said that he's frustrated and he feels like, I want to speak for a lot of guys. In particular, it's an emotional game. We're all playing really hard. Sometimes you get a tech and you realize maybe you crossed the line. Sometimes, refs make mistakes. He goes, I like a lot of the refs and they're all out there trying. And, it's with this guy though, I see it maybe it feels a little personal because I'm frequently getting texts from him and you look at my other games and I'm not having that happen. So I wonder if we've kind of crossed this line. Now he has, this particular official, his name is Taylor. His last name is Taylor I think it's Ben Taylor, has been the one who's given him 4 of his 8 technical fouls. So here was the quote, Tom. I don't mind. I'll take the fine. I really don't care. But I thought Ben Taylor was effing terrible tonight. I think that on most nights, out of the 3 officials, there's 1 or 2 guys that just kind of F the game up. It's been like that a couple of games in a row now with this guy. Losing on Monday at Denver was tough. Obviously, you come out tonight, you're competing hard, and I get a BS tech from Ben Taylor again that changes the whole dynamic of the game, changed the whole flow of the game. Most of the refs are trying really hard, I'll tell you. I like a lot of the refs. They try very hard. They're fair. They communicate really well with us on the floor. And then you got these other guys that just want to be a blank, and they want to screw things up. It gets personal with them. And nobody's out there going to see these refs. They need to know nobody's out here to see the refs. Nobody came to see Ben Taylor. They come to see the players. So, that's the way I feel. I know I'm going to get fined. That's it. I was like, my man. Yes, sir.
Speaking from the heart, we all know who those guys are in our respective sports. When I was growing up in hockey, it was a referee named Paul Stewart. In baseball, sadly, for generations, there's been a plague known as Joe West, who is now finally retired.
Cowboy Joe West.
Angel Hernandez, Tim McClellan, CB Bucknor, you name it. Every sport, we've got one. There was Ed Hockley once he decided to get involved in an NFL game, it wasn't just about the explanation. Like, there's a flag on every other play. Ron Winter, one of the referees, was always the holding ref. So if you've got something that stands out and the players they know the difference, go ahead, lay it on them. You know what? I'll bet some of his teammates and colleagues across the league, next time that they're at, I don't know, All-Star Weekend or whatever, he might get a couple of drinks thrown his way for free because, hey, good job. I appreciate what you did standing up for all of us.
Quote, ain't nobody out here trying to see Ben Taylor. That made me laugh. I was like, that's so true. I used to say that with Joe West on a nightly basis. I'd be watching the game, and then a guy would just merely ask, was that up? Was that away? Where was that? These are normal questions that pitchers might ask or a hitter might ask on a strike. Is that as far as you're going inside? Early in games. And Joe take it as an affront to the family name.
Right.
He's like, guy gets pitched inside on the hands, and it's a strike. It's called a strike. He steps out of the box, looks back at him, not demonstratively, and just says, as far as you're going inside tonight. Well, I need to know that as a hitter because then I know the inside strike's being called tonight, which means the outside strike is not. So, presumably. So, okay, or we're going to go up here by the numbers tonight or the letters? Where are we at? All right, well, then when you bow up and take your mask off and we're in the first inning of a game, like, what, you want to fight me, Joe? Really? I'll beat your old fat ass. Stand down. And it's the worst. And you watch it in time and again. I really wish the NBA, the NFL, all the major sports leagues, when you've got a guy who elevates the level of the dispute and makes it confrontational, they are by definition deciding to kind of paint outside the lines and make it about them. And that can never happen.
And that's something that whether you are in the military or counseling or law enforcement, there is de-escalation training. And maybe for these officials, there should be de-escalation training. I'm just saying, because you're right. We all know who those guys are. In college basketball, you talk about a multi-decade plague that is Jamie Luckey or Teddy Valentine, these ridiculous individuals that are paid.
TV Teddy.
TV Teddy. Remember, he actually helped us the one North Carolina game where he assessed the guy that tech. He went to the baseline and turned away from him and looked in the other direction. And then, the guy tugs him, and so it turns into a tech. I think we ended up winning by a basket in that game.
Yeah.
TV Teddy didn't end up hurting us, but it's just a sideshow. So you want to be a clown. Why don't you put on clown makeup while you're at it? And that way you could be like the rodeo clown, and we can all just understand what you are.
We've got lightning coming into the area. This may be an interesting day at the football fields, but it is a good time for us to sign off as my dog is nervous that the lightning just hit a tree across the street. Oh, man. All right, guys, have a great weekend. It's been fun. We'll be back with you on Monday. Be well and enjoy the weekend that is, and we'll talk again real soon. For Tom, I'm Jeff. Good job, Director Matthew, as well. Peace.